Yeah.
Each one is
This
different.
my
This one is
youngest
so
is the
intense.
easiest.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's because it's the youngest. It's just personality.
Personality, I think so. Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's she's the youngest.
But she haven't, todavía no te llegaba a ser adolescente.
No,
Good morning.
she's far away.
Welcome.
Nicolás cuando no era adolescente era...
You're back. You came for a good one. Hopefully, if we can get there.
Hello. Bueno, vamos a ver esa teoría, porque yo creo que las hormonas play a big role.
De los
De los
adolescentes.
teenagers, que Camila está, o sea, pero es como que se le prende por unos días y se le apaga.
Pero así son.
Sí.
Their brains are.
Ayer me dijo,
Dañaron todo su celular. Se hace como...
Porque es tuya.
ayer me dijo que se puso a llorar porque, pero ya va, era una tontería.
Sí, sí, sí.
Era,
¿Te la viste
Ah.
con tus hijos? ¿De banca? Hiciste con la plata de Patricia. ¿No te manché con nombre de Camila?
pero que están tú cuáles son.
¿Pero cómo los depositaste?
Ah, sí, tienen su cuenta. Pero para el, ajá.
Quería evitarlo. Me parece la idea que tengo en cuenta ahorita.
Entonces tienen su cuenta.
Okay, guys, we're getting to the
The good part?
exciting climax of this whole conversation.
Do it.
Me recordé porque se puso a llorar Camila. Because she misses camp.
She misses from last year.
Extrañaba el campamento. Sí, se puso a llorar.
Como vuelven a toddler.
Page 140. We began this chapter by speaking. Finally, we're getting finally to the reason that we have this whole conversation for the past 8 chapters. We're not at the ultimate finish of these 14 chapters, which I don't know if we'll ever get there because I may change things up a little bit. But we're at really the main point. We started the chapter by saying that in general, the nefesh habahamit, the animal soul, its a home, if you want to call it that, in the body, is in the left side of the heart. And the reason we said that is because that's where the blood is, and the blood is what gives vitality to the body, which gives life to the body. And this life is its natural life. That's not the godly life. That's the natural life. And then we said that the home, if you want to call it that, of the godly soul is primarily in the brain, but also in the right side of the heart. And that's what we got up until. We discussed that at length last week.
The animal soul was the left side because it's the blood.
Because it's the blood. And it's what sends blood out. In other words, the right side brings blood in. So it's really a receiver. It doesn't receive blood from the brain, but think of it as a receiver, and it receives its passion from the brain, whereas the left side kind of is its own passion. Baruch Hashem, how are you? Okay, so we're on page 140, and I really like to truck through to the end, but we will discuss it because this is really very critical. It's maybe the most important part that we've studied up until now. And it's a great part to end the regular sessions until after the summer. Okay, we're going to keep studying, but we'll study different topics. It is written, one nation shall prevail over the other nation. Does anybody remember where that comes from in the Torah by any chance?
In the Sinai.
It's a good guess. It's going to be a hard guess. There's a reason I'm pushing to see if we can get to it. One nation shall prevail over another nation.
When they go into Israel.
It's like
A good guess?
A type of war.
Yes. Think of a war between much closer. You guys are all going to big, go much more intimate war.
The Abraham's sons.
You're almost there.
Ismael and
Almost there. One generation next.
The
the
Yitzhak
twins,
y Esav.
Yitzchak and Esav. That's us.
Mm,
When the mother is trying to figure out what's going on inside of me,
right.
what's happening here? I have this war going on inside of me, right? So it's an internal war happening. There's a war happening inside of me. And she goes to, the word says, lidrosh, she goes to ask Hashem. What does that mean? According to our tradition, she goes to ask the sages of the time, which were the son of Noach, Shem, and his son or grandson, Aver. And she goes to ask them, and they give her a prophecy that you have twins inside of you. She couldn't get they couldn't read the, what's it called very well? The ultrasound. They were unable to read the ultrasound. Yaakov y Esav, hijos de Yitzchak. And they say that you have twins in you. And these twins will be are battling. That's why it feels like life is going crazy inside of you. And this becomes really a paradigm for our internal battle. That's what this whole game is about. That's everything what we've been describing is the battle.
No,
No, Isaac es
Jacob y Esav.
Entonces no es una generation down, it's two generations down.
Uno.
Ah, bueno.
Bueno,
Son of
twins,
right,
okay,
right,
okay,
right,
okay.
Estaban dentro de
Sí.
Jacobo.
Jacob.
Jacob, Jacobo, eso.
Jacob.
Jacobcito.
Jacob. Es que lo leí acá, Jacob.
Sí, está bien.
Sí, sí,
Yeah.
sí, está perfecto en español.
It's correct, Jacobo. Anyhow, Yaakov and Esav. So it says that there's going to be a battle between these two nations. And now comes the interesting part.
No, and there is when they start, everything starts going
Into splits.
into split.
Well, you really have a split before, like who was saying? You have the split of Yitzchak and Ishmael. But here you have this split happening in one woman at one time. Yitzchak and Ishmael are two different women. And one's born 13 years before the other one. So it's not the same kind of split. Here it's a
That
one split. One turns into two. So that's what's happening inside of us, as we're about to say. Ready? Here we go. Kihine Nikra Ir Kitana. The body is referred to as a small city. And I don't know where that's from, actually. I should, he says, okay, interesting. Not Mishlei, Koheles. If you can imagine two kings fighting over a single city, okay, you have Donald Trump and the Iranians fighting over the Strait of Hormuz, which they're not doing yet, by the way, but that's another common question that's not from today. Shekol Echad writes to the Kavshav Elimelech Aleha. Each one of the kings want to capture the city and to be the ruler over the city.
El diablito y el angelito.
Puede ser, but it's more complicated because that puts everything in very
Evil and good.
evil and good. Now we use the word evil and good here, but not the way that you and I would normally use it. So that's why we have to be careful with that. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I would say natural and godly.
Mhm.
A little different. But yes, 100%. Dahainu, page 141. Lahanig yeshveha kirtsoinai. Why does each king want this city? He wants to rule the inhabitants of the city according to his desires. That's what he wants. Better example might be Jerusalem. How many countries have fought over this poor little city? Every country in the world has wanted this city for some reason. He wants that every inhabitant of the city will listen to the king. So each king wants this city, wants control, not just over the territory, but over the inhabitants of the city. And they want each king of these two kings want to have the inhabitants follow his will. For everything that he will command them. Kach, similarly, likewise, shtei hanefashos are the two souls in our body. Our body is the city, and the two souls are the kings. Ha'elokis v'hachayunis habahamis, the godly soul, and the versus the animal vitalizing soul. So he gives two names to the animal soul, which is again why I like to call it the natural soul, because it's just what gives us life. The regular life that a human being has is the animal. Shemea klipa, which this second soul comes from the klipa. We've mentioned that many times. These two souls are in a constant battle, a constant struggle over the body in order that the body will follow the directives of each soul. Okay, now let's see what this war looks like. He's going to describe what the war looks like. Page 141 in the middle. Shoha'elikis, the godly soul, chefzer saina, shetehi levada mishal asalav manhigai. The godly soul wants that she, I'm calling her she, I think that's correct. It's that, yeah, he uses the word she, that she will be the ruler over this city. And each of the limbs of the body will only listen to her, to the godly soul. Umerkava eleha, and will become a chariot for her. V'yihiyu, page 142. Levush ve'eser b'chineseha, and that the body should become clothing for her 10 attributes. If you remember, we said, what is the soul made up of? 10 different things, the 10 sefirot. The soul is made up of Chabad, Chacham Bina Das, and the 7 emotional attributes. The desire of the godly soul is that the body should become a clothing for her 10 attributes. Haniskram Le'el, which we mentioned earlier. She slaps Shekulam Be'vari Guf, that they should be able to wear the body like her clothing. And that the body will be completely filled of only godly instincts. And wants to make sure, now we're really selling Donald Trump, that there's no, what's it called? That there are no,
Negotiation.
no, good, but I was going to go, no,
Mercy.
what do they call it? What does he call it? Immigrants, foreign aliens. What do you use the word? Illegal immigrants.
Wants to make the body great again.
Yeah, make the body great again. Very good. Muy bien. Excellent. Very good.
Vamos a patentarlo.
No illegal immigration.
Getting body great again.
Yeah.
We're getting
Halal. Making the
Body great again. No illegal immigrants. That's what he wants. No illegal immigrants. That's what he's looking for. Dahainu, what does this mean? Plus moichin shaberosh, the 3 parts of the brain. He's not talking about the physical 3 parts that anybody knows the science of the brain knows, that you have the medulla and you have the this and I forgot what they're called already now. But there's 3 parts of the brain. He's not talking about those 3 parts, I don't think. He's talking about Chachma Bina Das. Chachma Bina Das should be of the brain, of the physical brain, should be full of the Chachma Bina Das of the godly soul. Maybe Chachma Bina Das Shebenefesh Elikis.
Can you give examples, or
Yeah, I will.
do you recognize?
Absolutely. Well, sometimes it's
broadly,
confusing. Sometimes it's very confusing. Yeah.
Representations in the body?
Yes. But let's get the picture, and we're just going to read through, because like I said, I'd love to finish this chapter. We'll read through and then we'll analyze.
Okay.
These boine. Oh, he's going to give some examples. You don't need my help. Lihis boinein. Remember last week we spoke about hitbonenut, right? The difference between Chabad and what's it called? And Breslov. Hitbonenut, lihis boinein. How does he want to use the brain, the physical brain? How does the godly soul want to use the physical brain to think about the greatness of God, ad ein cheker ve'ein sof, who is infinite. That's what the godly soul wants to use the brain for, to think about Hashem. Ula haylid mehen, and from these thoughts to give birth, al yedei hadas, through the third level, which is das, the lowest of the three levels, hayira b'meichei upachal Hashem b'libay, the fear of God in his mind and the fear of God in his heart, as well as, and maybe most importantly, va'avas Hashem, and the love of God in his heart, ke'esh b'ara, like a burning flame, b'libay kirash b'shal heves, full of the fire of the love of Hashem. That is the desire of the godly soul. You want to know what the godly soul wants? He's not interested in coffee. He's not interested in sushi. Not interested in any of these things. We discussed, and I will come back to it at the end of the class. What about making a beautiful Shabbos table? That was your guest question. What about all the physical? What about advancing in your work in order that you can? Okay, good questions. We'll get to those soon. But in the ultimate sense, its primary objective is to be full of the love of Hashem. That's its primary objective. To use the brain to fill the heart with the love of Hashem. He's a one-track mind. These are very high levels of love that are described in Tehillim, where King David describes his love for Hashem. Nichsefa, where he's like somebody who's in complete what's the word? ¿Cómo se llama eso? Enamorado. But there's like where he's lovesick. He can't think of anything else.
David.
No, David is writing about his love for Hashem. That he can't think of anything else. One-track mind. The kolsa nafshi, that's a high level of love called klota nefesh. Klota nefesh is you don't even want to exist anymore. You just want to become one with Hashem. To that level, to total love. The davke be'ein sei baruch hu, to completely connect with Hashem, bechol lev v'nefesh, with his whole heart and his whole soul, uma'oid, and with all of his strength. That's all he wants. That's very high level. I get it. I'm not saying.
Also with Moshe, he divorced Zipporah too for that, no?
Good point. Very good point. Sort of. Moshe was not divorcing Zipporah because he found a better love. And he didn't divorce her. He separated from her. I said David HaMelech. Oh, the other love you mean? Is Hashem. David HaMelech is writing that he loves nothing else in the world. But don't compare that to Moshe's leaving Zipporah.
Because more, he had too much work.
Something along these lines. I would go with that. In other words, Hashem had a very specific purpose for him.
And he was the only person in the world.
Right. And that's why the brother and sister were wrong in their criticism of him. They were right in their criticism.
I read about that.
Because it was last week's parsha. Yeah. They were correct in their criticism of him because that's not the way for a Jewish person. A Jewish person doesn't leave their life or their wife in order to serve Hashem. That's incorrect. That's why they were speaking bad about him.
That's part of, but he did it.
Because in Moshe's case, there was a specific, it was a one-off.
Wow.
It was a one-off.
¿Qué cosa? Zipporah,
Right.
But it's interesting.
Zipporah
how
fue la esposa.
It's so almost antithetical to Judaism that.
Well, that's why they were right.
They were.
The brothers were right.
Miriam and Aaron, or Miriam was right to reclamarse. And
empezó el Jewish metiche, no? Everybody getting
involved in everyone's business. No question.
Well, that's what we learned that she was such a great tzaddik. It was punished with sarat and had to stay on the side of the whole 3 million people had to wait for her for 7 days.
which is not the first time that Jewish men had to wait for Jewish women
They had to wait 7 days for her
to become
heal?
healthy
To
again.
what?
Yeah,
To
to
what?
heal. To
No, I
heal.
know, but they had to wait.
The process of to become
No, but
holy.
why everybody was waiting?
Because she was so holy, they didn't want to.
They were supposed to go to the next step, the next travel.
Ah,
Anyhow, me'umke de liba shebechol yamini.
But
From the depths of the heart.
no, that's so amazing. I mean, like here, every single other religion in the world says that is the way to cleave to God, like Buddhists, Catholics.
Right.
That's the way
Most,
that
uh-huh.
yes,
Yeah, that cannot be married.
Right,
right.
yeah.
And we say no. It's like
can you remind me to ask you a question?
Sure, I'll try to. Shehiyeh toikei ratzav, we're in the middle of 144. Ratzav ava malay v'gadosh, that the love should be just overflowing. Ach tispashit gam lechol hashmali, it should overflow from the right side of the heart into the left side of the heart. Li'if kafya l'sitra achra, to convert it. Whoever says that Jews don't look for converts is wrong.
Yeah.
But we're looking for a convert inside of us. We want to convert the passion of the left side of the heart to now also love Hashem. Does that make sense to you? Do you understand what I'm trying to say here?
Yeah.
In other words, all of that that excitement and enthusiasm, everybody has their excitements and enthusiasms. I don't know what it is for each person in the room. I can't figure out what it is for me either, but I heard about it once.
The love of Hashem.
Huh?
The love
Must be.
Yeah, but the love of Hashem could be also like doing what Hashem wants you to do in life. And it says that you have to be married and you have to have kids. And so
Yeah.
if you don't do it and you're only in love with Hashem,
It's a problem
it's a problem.
because you're not doing what Hashem wants anymore.
Exactly.
Because now you're doing what you want. Okay, that would be like the husband who gives his wife for the yeah, exactly. Unless his wife is my daughter, who can think of nothing better than going to Formula 101. Yeah. But that's right, exactly. Shehi hatayv v'shmei klipa noiga, page 145. This is the desire. He uses the words lust. I don't know if that's a strong word, but let's go with it. Of the klipas noga. And what does he want to do? He wants to flip the love, natural love that people have for physical pleasure, and flip that love to love Hashem. So they think he wants to be a ruler. He's a tyrant. He's a tyrant for Hashem. He wants to, number one, experience the love.
Who's the type?
The godly soul. Terrible guy, but a good guy. For a good reason. He wants to rule the body. He wants to rule the mind. He wants to rule the heart, the left side of the heart. And then he wants that to flow over into the right, the right side of the heart. He wants that to flow into the left side of the heart. So now even the left side of the heart is ruling it. That's what he wants. You can't get everything you want necessarily, but that's his desire. Does that make sense so far? Page 145, bottom. No, in the middle. It is written. Where is it written? In none less than the Shema. First paragraph of the Shema. Bechol levavecha, with all of your heart. The Talmud tells us, b'shnei tzirecha, you have to love God with both of your instincts. Which are the two instincts? The natural and the godly. Very
So it's the
good.
Shema.
wow.
In the Shema.
Wow.
And not only that, even if you want to forget Chassidut, which I would suggest you don't.
So you have to love
No,
God.
dice with all your heart.
No, with all your heart, como que completo.
Con las dos.
Because hearts is two and not
Exacto.
one.
Yeah.
Exacto. And so the Talmud tells us, this is not Chassidus. Chassidus explains it, but the Talmud tells us even what we call your Yetzer Hara. So we might call Yetzer Hara even things that most people think are okay and good and normal. But even those who say that Yetzer Hara only means Yetzer Hara, even that's supposed to love Hashem.
But wait, I have a question. Here it says with good inclination and also with evil inclination. So good inclination is godly soul, evil inclination is
In our world, in the Chabad world. But yeah, that's what I'm trying to say is even if you don't want to accept anything Chabad teaches, and you want to go to the very a different style of conversation, and say the Yetzer Hara means somebody who likes to murder and whatever it is, we even want that soul to love Hashem. The evil of the evil, whatever you want, however you want to use the word evil is what I'm trying to say. You want to use the word evil, meaning to say the way we use it, which means anything that's natural, or you want to use the word evil in its most regular usage. Whatever it is, everything about a Jew is meant to love Hashem. That's not necessarily the way it always is, but that's what the desire of the godly soul is. That there's no other conversation. He doesn't want to have a conversation. He's a tyrant. He wants it his way.
No, but here it says that the evil inclination is the lust of the animal soul.
That's correct.
Not the animal soul completely.
That's the way he puts it. Yeah, because it says earlier, the lust emanating from Klipas Noga. No, yes and no. He's right, more right than me. This is not the Tanya itself. The part you're reading is the commentary. He still is much more right than me for many reasons, and one of them is because the Rebbe himself checked over these notes. So I'm going to go with his version better than mine. But I think that your, what we call in Hebrew to be medayik in his language is not always necessarily so. I don't know if we can infer that it's only referring to the lust and not the animal soul itself. I'm not sure if we can say that. I get why you're saying it though.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why just say Shehiyah Teva Shem?
Yeah, but not only that.
Es que no era todo el evil.
Then he says, "Como
inclination,
shekaz b'cholava
solamente
v'chavat
el
shnei
lust, la
tzirecha."
inclination, como si fuese una plaga, ¿no?
Pero no, this is an example. Y él no es como este ejemplo.
No, in essence, para decir que estamos diciendo.
Ah.
Okay. Vahainu, and now we're going to describe this love even a little bit further. Sheyala v'yavi v'yagia. That's from the word Ya'la v'yavo, if you ever know inside of that you will ascend and you will come and you will reach the Madregas Ahava Rabbah, to the level that we refer to as Ahava Rabbah. You will find out later in the Tanya, much later in the Tanya, that there's two kinds of love for God. There's a natural love that a Jew has that he's born with. And then there's a love that is even greater than that, which is the love of a tzaddik for Hashem. And that's referred to as Ahava Rabbah. Ahava Rabbah is this great, great love that's all-encompassing. Now, that's not guaranteed for every Jew, as we'll find out later. But it is guaranteed that that's what the Nefesh HaLakis wants. It may not get it, but that's what its desire is. Rabbah, yes. V'chiba Yisera.
Así se dice great grandma, ¿no? Safta Rabbah.
Safta Rabbah, por eso, el mismo. Great love, exactly. V'chiba Yisera, and a special attraction, Mimadregas Ava Azakarash Be'esh, from this level of love that is like a flaming fire. 146. V'hi anikras bekasov Ava b'tainugim. This is what is referred to in the verses in the pasuk. I don't see which pasuk it's from, but it's referred to as Ahava b'tanugim, a love of pleasures. You may not realize this, and I don't want to desviarse demasiado, but I can't think in English anymore. Is it? It makes okay. Ahava b'tanugim, yeah. Beautiful. To have a delight in God, like it's going to be when Mashiach comes. That's all we're going to be interested in. Now, let me tell you just briefly that, because I don't want to get, this is a very interesting topic, so we will get there eventually, but I don't think today's the day. Pleasure is the greatest motivator of humans. Meaning, I don't mean pleasure necessarily physical pleasures or all these kind of pleasures. It could be spiritual pleasures. It could be emotional pleasures. There's all different forms of pleasure. But that is the highest level, ratzon, for example, and the highest level of which is desire. And the highest level of ratzon is tainug, is pleasure, is the ultimate motivator for a human being. One of the reasons why schools are so bad at what they do. Not my point, but I'm just trying to show you an example.
Zero pleasure.
There's zero pleasure. What's the biggest pleasure you can get in a school is the fact that you got 100 on your test?
No friends.
Really exciting. Well, I'm talking about what the school's trying to get for you.
Yeah.
That's the pleasure? That's what you're offering? Who's motivated by that? Some very weird students.
Motivated by what?
Huh?
By
By getting
studying.
100 on your
Great
test.
Mhm.
Who cares? And you're
that's
holding
why-
it over my head like this is going to be what's going to motivate me to be successful. No. You want to know what's going to make a kid successful in study? Is the pleasure of learning. If you can find a way to show the pleasure of learning to a child, he will follow it like a dog, like a puppy dog.
No, that only happened after 40.
It's normally.
Yeah.
But if you were able to show it to them, they'll follow you like a puppy dog. That pleasure, you'll get anybody to do anything.
It's not the reward, it's
The feeling.
The deliciousness. If we could, I heard a rabbi once speak about Torah, and he says, you know, he dealt a lot with, he passed away, but he dealt a lot with children who came from religious homes who were no longer religious, or were even worse than that, were dealing with very difficult problems like addictions and these kind of things. And he said that he wishes, he said he's spoken to thousands of children, not only from difficult, you know, all different kinds of children, kids who were doing well too.
Who is
Huh?
Tversky?
No. Hey, what's his name? Wallerstein.
Oh.
He says he asked all the kids to describe the Torah in 1 or 2 words. And he said the 1 or 2 words that he never heard and that he wishes he would hear is beautiful and delicious. If we could give our kids the feeling that Torah is beautiful and delicious, they'd eat it up. Literally, that's where it comes from. Pleasure is such a motivator. So if we could imagine such a thing, it's hard to imagine. If we could have all of our pleasure be our relationship with Hashem, we'd be chasing it 24/7. That's all we would do. What can we do, as the Talmud tells us? I think it's even not before Talmud, but what do you expect from us, Hashem? Reb Levi Yitzchak of Berditchev, the great, he was the consuegro of the Alter Rebbe. They had their children married, and he was a great Hasidic sage. And he was referred to as the lawyer of the Jewish people, if you can imagine such a thing. Every Jew's a lawyer, but he was the lawyer of the Jewish people because he would always say nice things about Jewish people. So he said, Hashem, or tried to defend them in some way. He said, Hashem, what do you expect from us? You put, if you put pleasure into a book and Torah and you in front of our eyes, of course we would choose you. But what should you do that you put pleasure in front of our eyes and you inside of a book? What do you want from us?
I think that's why people get closer to God when they need it. Like when people are in a situation where they're having a bad time, or they need that pleasure, they need the comfort
No doubt.
from Hashem.
No doubt.
I
They
think
need
the
real comfort.
relationship,
Yeah.
no, but it's like rewarding because
Yeah.
it's like what you need.
Yeah.
So I think
It's the drug,
yes,
but it's a good drug.
To the trust for on Hashem,
but
because you cannot.
but it's when you need it, not. It
Pero
should
that was
always
the
be
No,
there,
it's
but-
because the other pleasures no te funcionan. Entonces necesitas
En
algo
este
más
momento.
grande.
En este
En
momento.
este
That was also
Exactly.
the course of the snake.
Yeah.
What? I don't get it.
The snake, when everything, cuando todo pasó, Adán y Eva, qué sé yo, no me va a salir. Pero cuando pasó lo de Adán y Eva,
No.
que fue todo también, no fue culpa de la serpiente, pero parte culpa de la serpiente. Dios la castigó y le dijo, sabes qué, en adelante, tú no vas a necesitar nada de mí. No quiero escucharte. Tú solo andas a comer polvo. No quiero escucharte. Te voy a dar todo lo que tú necesitas para que tú jamás te acuerdes de mí, ¿no? Ahora no.
Sí.
You're doing good. You don't need me to debate you.
Entonces, también eso es un curse. O sea, como que también Dios quiere que lo busquemos. Entonces, a la serpiente le dio todo para que más nunca tenga que buscarlo. Entonces,
Que para
puedo
nosotros a
sacar.
veces.
o sea, a nosotros a veces nos pasan cosas que son difíciles,
Pero también es para que
Pero también
busquen
es tu
a-
propio beneficio porque también te hace crecer como persona y Dios quiere que o sea, Dios quiere que nosotros nos elevemos y al final.
No, sí, lo que digo es más de el placer, o sea, es como no, la palabra no es reward, pero people get closer to God.
Porque lo
When you need it.
necesitan, pero
Exacto.
Dios sabe que eso pasa.
Sí.
Entonces nos hace pasar por cosas difíciles porque sabe que eso pasa y sabe que lo que va a funcionar en ti, lamentablemente, es eso.
When you have other pleasures, you don't need it.
Ujú.
Sí.
Let's keep pushing through, and then we'll analyze. We're almost ready for solid analysis here. Page 146. This is what we refer to as avid tanugim. So the pleasure. This is what a love that's a pleasure, and it's like olam haba. A tzaddik, you know, there was another great tzaddik, who his students came to him, and for some reason they believed that Mashiach had come. I think it was the Chosev Lublin. And they came to him and they said, Mashiach came. He opens the window, he smells outside. Huh? Was Nachum Shenabel? He smells it, maybe Nachum Shenabel. He smells outside. He said, no, he didn't come yet. So, number one, what do you mean? What do you could smell if Mashiach's here? That's pretty crazy, but he could smell. So the question is, so why does he have to smell outside? What about in his room? Because in his room, Mashiach was there already. Because these tzaddikim, the love is so solid, they have this pleasure. He wanted to see what's happening in the world, and the pleasure wasn't there yet. So my point is that the love that a tzaddik experiences in Hashem is comparable to the love that all of us will experience in Olam Haba, in the world to come. But it's a pleasure. However, here's where it gets weird. Okay, page 146, second paragraph. This pleasure, he b'moyach, is experienced mostly in the brain. It's not actually weird. If you know about modern science, it makes sense. But we normally think of pleasure as happening in the heart. And he says, no, it's in the brain, because this is above heart, and it's even above logic. This is above everything.
So
The pleasure comes from the brain.
It's experienced in the brain. And it's experienced in the intellect. That it takes pleasure in understanding about Hashem. And this is very similar to what I was suggesting, but I don't know what he's talking about because I've never experienced it. But very similar to what I was suggesting, if we could teach our kids to love learning, right? Where's that love happening? It's happening in the brain. This is a much higher level than just acting like a dog, a human dog, but a dog. This is happening at a very high level inside of the human psyche. Vehu, third paragraph, Bechinas hamayim v'zera or zarua, shebekedushas nefesh alikis. The brain, when we compare the brain to the heart, we look at it as fire and water. The brain being like water and the heart being like fire.
Can you repeat that? The what?
The brain and the heart are like fire and water. The brain is like water and the heart is like fire. So this love is a calm love. It's passionate, but not passionate in the sense like your daughter who's boom, 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 boom. No, it's
Fire.
constant. It's consistent. It's
pure-
constant.
it's pure heart.
Right. That's fire. Exactly.
No, al revés.
Sí.
The brain is water.
Brain is
Sí.
water.
There's a liquid in the
O
brain.
sea, ya tiene pura emoción, no viene de su cabeza.
So, but this is a
claro, ella se está guiando por
exactly. Y por eso it's like a heart that's pumping. Boom, boom, boom. Yes, in, out, up, down, left, right. This is a constant love for Hashem, not a love for Hashem that wakes up every 2 minutes, 2 minutes out of every year. You know what I'm saying? This is more water style, like flowing river.
no me acuerdo de Tamil.
And what does it do? It takes the water in the Nefesh Bahamis. Remember, when we spoke about way back in chapter 1, we spoke about the fact that the nefesh habahamis, the animal soul, has 4 elements. The element of fire, which causes anger. The element and what else was I forgot what it was? Anger and no, I'm saying anger and something else. Fire.
Ego.
No.
So
Maybe.
that's what
Maybe it
you-
was
you
ego.
say that
Ego
you
was-
are-
ego was
your
there.
heart
No, it
is
was ego.
broken.
No,
It was
no,
ego.
it's-
Ego in the sense of
Yeah, when you believe
yes,
that you're very
yes,
That's
very
why
good. Well done,
people
guys.
say, my heart is broken.
Yeah.
because of that.
¿Cómo así? Oh, because of the anger, you're saying?
Yeah.
Sure. The level of water, which was designed chasing after pleasure, and in a certain way, that's the most powerful.
There's a lot of things with water, right? And like as we live, like when the world was disappeared, it was all water
You mean like by Noah?
by Noah, and then also David Amelech when he raises the levels when with his songs, right?
There's has to be something. I don't know what the relationship is. I don't know.
Sky Lake.
Sky Lake, exactly. Very good.
No, but also
Very
the
good.
Torah is compared to
To water,
water.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. But here we're using it in the sense that that water is the primary element of the brain, and it's going to now go down into the heart and then jump into the other side of the heart and convert the water on the other side of the heart, which is the desire for pleasure,
Yeah.
to now be focused entirely on Hashem. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to convert the heart. Okay, let's make it real for a moment. Not so real, it's sort of real. We'll keep it PG. If you go R-rated, it's even more interesting because it's even more passionate.
No, let's do it all the way.
The R-rated. And I'm just going to give a simple example. But a piece of steak to a guy, or ladies love steak too. But I'm saying guys have this weird thing with steak. Okay, and their mouth is watering, literally watering. There's like looking forward to this steak that they flipped 3 times, and they put the exact, and they're measuring with the this and the that, and they're so excited. The excitement, and you're looking at him, you're saying, "Why? It's a piece of meat, dude." But no, the excitement is overwhelming, right? He's literally his mouth is dripping, physically. We want that to be the feeling that you feel towards Hashem.
Or studying Torah, or that is studying Torah.
Yes,
Can
yes,
you compare studying Torah? to
yes,
the
we
love
can.
of
But
Hashem?
let's come back to that when we go to the final analysis of this chapter, which we're almost there. Because that's a good. Now you're trying to put it into practice. You want to know about the practice of it.
Yeah, how do you
Right.
describe the love for Hashem?
Yeah.
Bueno,
Okay.
como it's love.
But now what we're looking for.
So meaning
Right.
Hashem doesn't want a person.
We didn't say what Hashem wants. We're saying what the Nefesh
Claro,
Halakis
pero
wants.
¿cómo describes el amor que sientes por alguien? Lo puedes describir a través de las cosas que haces. Pero, o sea, esa es una de las maneras.
No.
Pero también,
If he was naturally passionate,
Yeah,
he would
of
be
course.
passionate for Hashem.
Of course.
That's your.
No question.
Pero lo demuestras de una manera.
Por eso.
Um,
Pero lo que quiere decir él es que aquí es el love for Hashem, no es el amor a estudiar Torah. Estudiar
exacto.
Torah es una de las representaciones de tu amor por Hashem.
Puede ser. También puede ser amor para el sí mismo.
También.
There's all different. That's what I'm saying. Let's get to the practice soon.
What is it?
No, but we get the main picture we're getting here. Now, we're not saying that you're reaching this necessarily, but we're saying that your godly soul, every godly soul in every one of us, this is his ultimate wish. Is he going to get it? I don't know. That's what we'll find out later.
Isn't this book is for regular people? This is,
w-
this is a book written for regular people.
We'll get there. That's where we get when we get to the practice of it. Chapter 26, 27, and you look at yourself and you say, I never felt that in my life. What the heck is he talking about? Chapter 16, he tells us, and even if you don't get there, Hashem will put it together for you. There's many, what I'm saying? It's not we're not necessarily going to, but that's what our godly soul's nature is. That's all its interest. One track mind. And he wants, not only is it one track mind, it wants to be a tyrant. It wants to be a ruler.
Right, but how do you get away from the feeling that you're failing every day at it?
You're asking me, I'm the wrong person to ask. You're asking exactly the wrong person. Ask Hindi. Page 147. We will get there. No, you know what? I'm going to throw you a tidbit. I'll throw you a tidbit soon. Yes. Not only is it small wins,
It's like, no, but tell us.
it's the fact that you're in this lucha that makes
Yeah.
life interesting for Hashem. I don't mean that he's playing with us, not like that, but the fact that you're fighting the fight, that's the purpose. The purpose is the fight. The purpose is not
The win.
the win. The purpose is the battle. When you're doing the battle, you're doing what Hashem wants. It's exactly what he wants. He's not asking you for wins every time. He's asking you now. Separate that from behavior. Does he want you to behave every time that you do exactly what it says in the Torah? Yes, that's what he wants. Do we fail? Of course we do. But that's a different topic. But in terms of the topic of the fight between Nefesh HaBahamis and Nefesh HaElokis, remember, you can do a mitzvah by Nefesh HaBahamis.
Yeah.
Okay, there's many mitzvahs you can do for Nefesh HaBahamis. Now, that doesn't take away from the mitzvah. It's still a mitzvah. But that's not what we're talking about in this conversation. We'll get there. The Kamesha Kotzah Beitz Chaim, we're up to page 147. We're almost done with the chapter. Good, we're making it. Beitz Chaim, Shar Gimel, Per Gimel, Shar Nun, Per Gimel, B'Shem Zohar. The Eitz Chaim, which is the writings of the Arizal, the Ari HaKadosh, who lived in Tzfat in the late early 1600s. And he is quoting from the Zohar 500 years before him, 1,500 years before him. A little less. Shara nepach liyes toiv gamor. That the evil should be completely converted into good. Kemo yetzer tov mamish, so it should behave like a yetzer tov. Behasir habegadim atzayim, by throwing off the dirty clothing that it wears. Mimeno shehem tanugi olam hazeh, which are the pleasures of this world. Shehu melubash behem, which he is normally wearing. That's his normal clothing. And likewise, all of the other midos of the 7 midos. So far, we've really only spoken about love and a little bit about fear. But we're saying about all of the 7 midos, which are Chachma, Bina, Das, Chesed, Gevur, Tiferes, Netzach, Hod Yisod, and Malchus. Shebelev, Shehin, Anfei Yira, which all of them are los ramas. How do you say ramas?
Sí,
Branches. Those are the branches of Av and Yira, which we could describe at a later date. That they should all be focused on Hashem. And now we're turning it into practice. Up until now, we're talking internal. Your desires, your passions, your interests, your pleasures, all focused to Hashem. Now we're making it external. All of your speech, all of your thoughts, should be full of the thoughts and speech of what the Nefesh Halikis wants to think and speak about. Page 148, which is, now we're getting back to your point a little bit, which is the thought about Hashem and the thought of his Torah. So studying Torah, of course, is what it wants to do physically. That this should be all it speaks about. As the expression goes, that his mouth never stopped from saying words of Torah. And likewise, the ability to act, Shabiyadav in his hands, Vishari Machevarav, and the other 247, the rest of the 248 limbs of his body, the Maisa Mitzvahs Lavad, should be only involved in doing the action of mitzvahs. Shehu Lavush HaShlishi Shel Nefesh Lakis, which is the third of the garments of the godly soul. That's all. We just described the motivation and the desire and the hope and the dream of the godly soul. I have, Baruch Hashem, I've been teaching for a number of years, a particular Chumash class, 5 years. It's now going to be 5 years. And I start my class every year with the same thing. I tell the girls, it's a girls' high school class, I say, I have a dream and I have a goal. My dream is you're going to love my class loving Chumash. My goal is that you shouldn't hate Chumash. A goal I have control over. A dream, I could dream. I hope it happens. The dream of the Nefesh Halikis is what we've just described.
And this year, did they love it? Or?
at different students, different things. But I get the letters, and they'll write me the letters at the end of the year, and they say, "You at least got this." In other words,
A goal you have control in a dream.
you have no control over.
No.
You can just hope for
You
it.
can dream is hope.
You hope
In
for
goal,
it.
You have control over.
Yeah. So I try and at least make the Chumash experience not something you dread, and that I can control. The same thing here. The dream of the Nefesh Elokis is what we just described. Okay, is that
Which
going to
is-
happen? Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I don't know. But that's what it dreams. That's all what the Nefesh Elokis wants. Later, we'll speak about what it's expected of it.
So can you summarize what
Yes.
the dream is?
The dream is that everything about you is God crazy, not girl crazy, like for guys. That's how we'd say it for guys. Everything about you is God crazy.
Everything about you.
Everything.
Todo lo que haces, todo lo que
Todo, tu
piensas, todo lo que
brain,
dices, todo.
Eso.
It's like
You're
the-
God
the
crazy.
boys
So
who-
that's
the boys in Shul. I hear them. This
Huh?
whole group of boys in Shul every Shabbat. All they talk about is girls. So funny.
they're just becoming bar mitzvahs, so you get the right
That
age
time of
here.
the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you become God crazy. What does it mean to be God crazy? So we spoke about it at many different levels. We spoke about it at the highest level. We went really from the highest to the lowest level. At the very highest level, it means that all of your passion, all of your pleasure, all of your desire, that's at the highest levels, is all focused on Hashem. Then we went down from there to say that also all of your thoughts, and then all of your speech, although it went backwards, and I'm curious why. I have to look it up. It said all of your speech and then all of your thoughts, which is interesting.
Well, let's be.
I'm sorry, wait one more second. And not only that, it said not only should that be what's going on in your brain, but you even want your heart to have gone that direction. That it goes from your brain to your left side of your heart and it bubbles over into your right side of your heart and now becomes contaminated. That all it wants now is the love of Hashem.
So I have a question. So this chapter explains the war that's between the Nefesh Elokit and the animal soul,
Right.
but only describes.
Uh,
The
let's see. You're right.
governing-
You're
the
right.
governing
I didn't
of
finish.
the-
I didn't finish the chapter.
Ah,
I have 2 more paragraphs, but you're right. But you're right.
What?
She's a
What?
good
What?
catch.
What?
Hold on.
No,
I'll finish it and then you'll see.
It's not talking about.
It's not fair.
The other
Yeah.
side of the world.
Okay, very good.
Like what
But let's just
animal
finish
soul-
this thought, and then not only to be in the internal, but in the external. The external includes your thoughts, your speech, and the most external is your action. So that's its dream. Its dream is that you're one track.
Can you control your thoughts?
Yes, absolutely.
All of them.
All of them.
Not all of them.
All
No,
of
the
them.
spark.
but
All of them.
is-
I'll fight you on this one to the
What
death.
that you
Yeah.
get, that Hashem, you
What
can't
about-
control
I'm
your
not saying I can
thoughts.
control my thoughts. I'm the worst in the
No,
world.
but that-
Yes. Yes, I
No,
believe
but
it.
you choose
I'll
only
fight
the
you on
right
this one.
thing.
We'll debate.
You spoke about that in
I
the
know that.
beginning
I
of
know
the
that.
book.
I know
You
that.
said that
I
there's an
maintain it.
initial spark and that you have the control of stopping it.
Yes.
Like
So
Yeah.
intrusive thoughts,
you stop
maybe
them.
you're defining it as that initial thing, and he's not saying that's a thought. That's not a conscious thought.
Right.
Like if you let it pass and don't give it
Right.
something,
Or if you actively
or-
switch channels. No, I'm not saying this is easy. I'm not, to the contrary, I have my own levels of intrusive thoughts and things that are, we in Chabad, we refer to a different kind of intrusive thought. We call them machshavot zarot, machshava zara, external thoughts that don't belong in your brain. It's not necessarily talking about the kind of specific intrusive thoughts that you're discussing. That's more psychological, let's say. But then among us Chabadniks, we joke that they're so common, they're no longer zara, they're no longer external, they become normal for us. You know what I'm saying? Those are our normal thoughts. So I'm nobody to lecture anyone else about how to control your brain. But I'm telling you that this is clearly the opinion of the Alter Rebbe, is that you can control your thoughts, period. Now, am I telling you? Yes, you can.
But not
Able.
that-
Okay,
not
sí
the
puedes.
conscious thought, the conscious-
Sí
the
puedes.
conscious thought.
Your conscious thought. He's
So
not
wait,
suggesting it's easy, and he's not suggesting you're going to win every game, and he's not suggesting that because you didn't control it that you're an evil person. He's not saying any of that. So be careful with what I'm telling you.
No.
But the basic theory is that yes. Now you can tell me, and this is a matter for debate. And now I'm speaking Rafi Rosenberg. This is no longer speaking about the Alter Rebbe. You can tell me that there's something called mental illness, and a mental illness has certain intrusive thoughts, and that this mentally ill person cannot control his intrusive thoughts. And here we can debate, and many of the much greater Tanya teachers than myself will disagree with my opinion. My opinion is
You can.
that you can. But I'm telling you that there's great Tanya teachers who are much more knowledgeable than me who disagree with my opinion, so you don't have to take my opinion. Okay? I still think that they're wrong, and I'll fight them on it. And if they'll ever have the debate, I'll debate them. I could lose, but I'll debate them. That's my theory. I believe that, of course, there's something called mental illness. I'm not debating that. That's not the conversation. But most of what we define as mental illness is not mental illness, number one. And number two is even in mental illness, we have the ability somehow or another to find a solution. I don't know if we found them all yet. I don't know if we've seen them all yet, but that the solution is there and that there's a way to control your thoughts. I believe that. Maybe it's a belief more than it's something I can prove.
Maybe that's the cool difference between us and AI, that we actually have agency in AI that doesn't have.
That's one of many. The others, AI stinks, but it's another conversation.
Mhm.
It doesn't work. It doesn't do its job, but that's another conversation. Wait, we have to finish because for A, we have to finish the chapter and we have to get your answer.
Mhm.
And sorry, 148. Finish. However, nefesh habahamish me'aklipa, the animal soul that comes from klipa,
Wants the total
ritzoyne lehepech mamish, wants the literal opposite. L'toyvas ha'adam, she is gaber alav v'yinsacheha. But why does he want it? So we're not analyzing its desire. We're analyzing why Hashem made its desire this way. And he tells us, in order to give us the opportunity to fight it.
For men's benefit, in order
For
like
us
when,
to,
when you have that, like for when a moment you
Like you're saying,
right.
No,
choose
but
the
you-
God's
Yes,
soul,
yes,
that feeling,
that's it.
That's probably
That's it.
It.
That's our ultimate benefit. And he goes further and he gives an example that's mentioned in the Zohar. Kemashal hazoyna shebezohar, like the analogy of the prostitute mentioned in the Zohar.
harlot is-
Perdón, ya
Harlot
va,
is
no entendí
prostitute.
esto. ¿Puedes repetirlo? No.
Yes,
The
He's
animal
saying-
soul wants the total opposite.
that's all he said. That's his
Uh-huh.
whole explanation. So you're right. It's a good
El
catch.
opposite.
El opuesto. He wants to be in total control. That the human being is constantly, its pleasures is pleasures of the nature, its interests are interests of nature, its mind is constantly being used to think about these things, its mouth is constantly being used to speak about it, and its ability to action is constantly striving after pleasure.
even if that was like a more spiritual pleasure.
Of course.
Doesn't-
By spiritual, you don't mean godly. You mean
Right.
like
I'm not-
pleasure of intellect, like becoming a great scientist, for example.
Oh, I was thinking like more.
Eso todo lo entendí, pero después no
Yeah,
entendí
yeah,
lo
yeah,
del-
Like
sure,
the animal
sure,
soul
sure.
desires is- O sea, que el purpose de tu animal soul que quiera
Ah,
eso,
good. So now let's
es
explain
para
that.
Cuando prevails la otra, ese.
So
porque
why-
la
claro,
adicción,
el
cuando-
el que
is to
jode.
fight our
pero el
animal
propósito
soul
tiene
to
que
get-
existir para creer lo posible,
Claro,
para cuando
everything
este
what
gana,
we were
el
talking
gato
And,
todo
and he
gana,
wants to give us the
ese es el
opportunity
win.
O sea, si no
Que
to win.
lo dominó,
Claro,
que
es
dominó.
motivante, es motivador.
Si no tuviese
It's the motivator.
in a way, because you're saying that he's a challenger, but
The
by
challenger.
having a challenger, you keep going up levels.
Claro, ok, qué cool,
Exactly
me
right.
gusta.
Si este
Yeah.
no existiera, el otro-
Por fin,
Si el otro-
por fin. I told you we're gonna get
I
there.
like it.
Si este no existiera, lo otro no, tampoco te haría
Yeah.
tanto placer.
O sea,
Claro,
si-
tiene
si
que haber siempre dos sides.
Si nosotros tuviéramos a Dios enfrente y supiéramos qué es
You
lo que
never
hay que hacer y
suppress
qué no,
So
No,
that
no,
we
no,
have that
problema.
pleasure
Claro.
queen.
You know?
Pero estaría mejor.
No, it's not
No,
just
porque
about the
pierde-
pleasure.
no,
It's
Bueno, pero ya es
Go to the
enjoyment.
meeting first.
No, porque pierde.
This is the whole
pierde-
No lo disfrutas.
Exacto.
Right?
Dame
No,
another
no,
one.
no, just that,
No,
like,
pierde-
Dame another one. You have to go to the meeting on time.
whole
No,
stuff
igual
that
lo
way.
común no puedes crecer.
Also,
Al final Dios lo que quiere es que
When-
be honest.
Para eso está el
Say,
when we
I,
fight.
I do want to be a teacher, but I'm not sure if I want to be what's it called, or I want to work with teenagers. But I would love both. But I have a natural inkling. Huh? Who says she didn't argue full time yet? Let's find out. You go and listen. The more you listen, the better it is. Always.
What's the
Okay, let's-
parallel of the-
There's
Ya va, perdón, antes de que vayas para, porque es que dice
No, ya,
that he prevailed over her and vanquished her.
el animal soul.
Yes, the animal soul.
No, about the
Oh,
the house.
no. Look, you're not looking. The parable comes after that.
See,
Uh,
it did say the man's
The animal soul.
the animal soul desires for this man's
Okay.
benefits in order that he prevail over her and back
Not
her.
that's not why the animal soul. Well, yes, he
That-
could even be saying about the animal soul as the zona is. This is interesting. You hit a good point, and I never thought of it this way. Hold on one second. Let me tell you about the harlot, and then we'll debate. Did Zach come in?
No.
Okay, my
I think
brain
we need
is
to change this hour.
Okay.
Like,
for another 50 minutes.
Take my
Eh?
card.
Take my card.
Bye, thank you.
Bye.
That's probably him texting me. He's not coming in here. The animal soul. No, it's not. The story of the harlot is the story of the harlot is a harlot is a prostitute
es un cuento del
¿En
Zohar.
qué idioma?
in English.
It's a fancy name. It's a fancy name.
Arlota.
No.
No, I'm just making it.
Charlotta.
Charlotte. Yo me lo sé en el idioma.
Yeah.
no es slang.
No, este no es slang.
Yeah, don't say
Este
it.
es muy refinada. Muy refinada. Es un, anyhow, the is basically a king wants to test his son,
Okay,
and he hires the best,
okay.
top.
Una geisha.
Huh? Yeah, pero the best of the best. Looks, abilities, skills, and everything. Now, let's analyze the harlot's motivation. Let's look at her motivation. What are her motivations here? Does she want the son to fail or to succeed?
Too feo.
In a way,
No, man.
it's complicated.
Yeah.
That's what we're describing here.
Why?
What's her job?
To get the son.
To fail.
To fail.
Her
But
job,
but her
so she is successful if the son
failure
fails.
For the
Correct.
son, it's her success. Yeah.
Right. So that's her one side, but she has another side.
No. El rey contrata una prostituta para
Testear al hijo.
testear el hijo. ¿Cuál es la motivación de ella?
O sea,
Que
she
él
wins
fail,
when the son
Exacto.
fails.
El win de ella es el failure de él. Entonces,
But
el mismo objetivo.
that's not necessarily her ultimate wish.
Her ultimate wish is that he's happy.
She may actually wish for the son to succeed and for her to fail
Why?
Why?
That's
because
really, wants the king to be happy.
she wants the king to be happy. She wants the son to be happy. So it's
But
complicated.
That's not her.
It's not her job.
No, that's not her success.
I got it.
Depending on the situation.
I got it. It's not her success, but she may
It's not
even
her
want it.
obvious, It's not her obvious success.
Right.
Claro.
So she's not allowed to.
Maybe she doesn't know anything about what the king wants.
No. So, pero digamos que she does.
Sí, fue la contrató el king.
Sí.
Claro, y quien
The
la
king
contrata
tells
como
him,
Es una
right.
empleada del rey.
Yeah.
Claro, pero ella no sabe cuál es el objetivo del king.
Bueno,
Pero al final, she has to do her job, and she has to do the best she can, and she will be considered the world's best prostitute if she wins.
Mhm.
But on the other hand, there's a even deeper motivation, which, after all that, she still wishes
The king's son
that the
success.
kings
Yeah,
will be
right.
successful and the son will be successful. This is the Nefesh
It kind of
HaBahamis.
sounds like a spy, like those people that go into they dress up as a spy and they have to get married, like the Mossad, those.
Yeah,
Mossad,
but
like-
they're the
Like a sneaky.
Yeah, like it's,
here it's very complicated. I can't tell you. So this is Nefesh HaBahamis. Nefesh HaBahamis ultimately wants what Hashem wants, which is ultimately that we're successful. But she doesn't have the right to be bad at her job.
So the nefesh, the godly, the natural soul it's a prostitute.
Yeah, you got it.
I have a question.
Done.
Yeah.
Finished.
Like the immediate is the animal and natural pleasures, but maybe ultimately it's okay and it wants to be
In the
converted,
ultimate,
wants
because
to-
she's a prostitute who works for the king.
I have a question.
Okay,
Everything
okay.
you said.
Got it?
about
It's a
this-
good
cool, right?
parable.
Sí.
It's very cool.
and which is why
What the
If
animal
someone
soul-
says no,
Oh,
yeah.
prostitute that
So
works
what
for
the
the
animal soul wants the opposite of what Hashem.
The animal soul is contracted, contratado, para que nosotros hagamos el opuesto de lo que Dios quiere.
Ella trabaja para
Pero
el
al
mismo
final,
soul.
ella gana.
Aunque, o sea, quisiera
No,
que el
if
rey
qué?
vaya a venir, que su
if we do what Hashem,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, yes.
we will that applies to everything.
Sure.
Or we're talking only about Hashem and our
Explain
brain,
an example of what you're talking about.
Tiene
like
que gustar.
a
Esa es la
child who
persona
wants to win a football game.
Okay.
Does this apply to that? No.
It's,
Pero
we
el rey
can
Hashem,
compare
en la
it.
parábola,
Okay.
el rey Hashem,
But that's not what we're talking
about.
about.
El animal soul, una
Yes,
prostituta.
you can compare
En
it,
verdad,
but that's
el
not what
animal
we're
soul
actually
existe
talking about. In
para
other words, what we're actually talking
challengear
about
a
is
tu-
only
a tu-
about
a
our
tu
relationship with
relationship
Hashem.
soul.
But you are right that
O sea, si
it's
no,
the
Dios no
same
hubiese
kind
creado
of
al animal
conversation,
soul, al final
motivation
el
going
animal
on.
soul es empleado también de Dios. Y también lo creó
How do
para
I- how do
motivar,
you-
para
I have to go.
challengear.
But I don't know if that applies necessarily.
Lo que quieren. Pero el ultimate goal
Pero
es
digo,
servir
ultimate
de
Claro,
goal es
come.
como escondido. ¿entiendes?
Okay, I have to go, ladies.
Como que el rey esté contento, pero
I have a question.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Ask it, we'll see.
There's
What about